Hello, buddies. Welcome once again to the Franco Observer podcast. Fellow Franco fans, you know me. I come from you today from the dark recesses of your mind. I am your host, Jason Rudy. And dark recesses of the mind is something that fits this film very well. For this is episode 19, and we review Ilsa The Wicked Warden, which is the later title of it. Yeah, that's what was known here in America for the video release and DVD release. This was film 78 from Jess Franco, and it's the 11th of 16 films that we've reviewed so far in the Jess Franco Erwin C Dietrich collaboration. They worked together for 16 times, and coming together on this one, Ilsa The Wicked Warden. Let's see. The original theatrical title in country of origin is Greta Haus und Männer, which is the Switzerland and West German release title, which translates to Greta House Without Men, which is fitting for the title because she's a lesbian warden, and this is an all-woman, supposed to be a rehabilitation clinic, but it's really a prison. The other one is Greta la Tortionnaire, French-speaking regions. Alternate title, Wanda the Wicked Warden, which is the U.S. theatrical title. Then Greta the Mad Butcher, the Canadian theatrical Swiss sales brochure title. Greta la Dune Bestia, the Italian theatrical title. Greta the Beast Woman. Penitentiary of Perverted Women, the French title. Penitentiaire des Femmes Perverses. Let's see. They got Greta the Torture, or Greta the Cruel. Greta la Ronde. Ilsa, Absolute Power was a U.S. video title they threw on later on. Ilsa, Ultimate Perversions, which is a French video on the Assault video label. French video on the California label was the Ilsa, Ultimate Perversions. Let's see here. Greta la Penitentiary de Femmes Perverses, the French alternative title. Ilsa La Torture, Canadian title. Slagen de Fragenhaar, Denmark video. Ilsa Butcher of Jungle Prison. Greta Haus Zunder Mannen. Greta House Without Men. Or Greta House Without Men. Greta German DVD. Ilsa, the Mad Butcher for the German Blu-ray. No Man's Land, the English language pre-shooting title. Unconfirmed titles: Greta the Torturer, Greta the Sadist, Ilsa, Ultimate Perversions, Sadistria to Stratus Pendun, German. Polish DVD is Ilsa the Wicked Warden, Elza, E-L-Z-A. Then Ilsa, A Fierce Wardess, the Russian DVD possible title. Production companies on this is Elite Films, AG from Zurich, which was Dietrich's company, as we've all went through. And then also this has Aetas Film Production, A-E-T-A-S, out of Canada. The theatrical distributors for this, Avis Filmverlag out of Switzerland, West Germany, and Cinepix out of USA, Canada as Wanda the Wicked Warden. The shooting timeline on this is they shot in Portugal from August 17th to September and 1976, and it got the catalog and the certificate issued in Germany in January 18th of 77, and played Germany on January 21st of 77, then Zurich in January 77, and played Biel-Benicia in Switzerland on March 9th of 77, Canada and Montreal June 18th, 77, Taranto in Italy on August 4th of 77, Turin August 31st, 77, Florence on September 7th, 77. Then it was registered by Cinepix on October 16th of 78, and played Rome in November 7th of 78, and played Huntington, USA as Wanda the Wicked Warden after they tried to register it as Ilsa the Wicked Warden, but Don Edmonds, who did the first two films, already had it Ilsa registered. So they had to release it as Wanda the Wicked Warden for the theatrical, and then they changed it to Ilsa later on home video release. The theatrical running time on this is the Germany version, 87 minutes, 17 seconds. And Blu-ray running time on the Ascot Elite is 94:15. Director Jess Franco. Story Erwin C Dietrich as Manfred Greger. Screenplay Jess Franco. Producer Erwin C Dietrich. Director of Photography, Rudolf Kutel. Lighting, Hans Ziefel. Music, Walter Baumgartner. Line producer, Max Dorn. Cast, Diane Thorne, Dr. Greta Del Pino, Lena Romay as Juana Mares, prisoner number 10. Tania Brussier plays Abigail, Abby Phillips, Abigail Garcia, number 41. Angela Richard is Rosa Phillips, prisoner number 52. Peggy Markoff as Carla, prisoner number 14. Esther Studer, prisoner number 24. Howard Maurer, director of federal prisons. Eric Falk plays Dr. Stefan Rigo. Laura Lee Boucher as Lord Boucher is the chief guard. Mike Litterer, stubby convict in gang rape scene. Esther Mosier is prisoner number 18 who creates the diversion in the showers. Roland Humbert plays third convict in line in gang rape scene. Mariana Lederer, Yvonne Ibdusier. Uncredited, Jesus Franco is Dr. Milton Arcos. Dagmar Brugger, blonde prisoner number 9. Carl Geisling, goateed convict in gang rape scene. Sargad Sharif as prisoner number 20. In Flowers of Perversion, Volume 2, by Stephen Thrower, he writes, kept at the producer's heel for the first half of 1976, Franco was itching for more freedom. He wasn't allowed to operate the camera, he couldn't employ Daniel White to score his films, and even the editing was handled by someone else. In his Jack the Ripper commentary track, Erwin Dietrich claimed that cinematographer Peter Baumgartner usually edited the Franco films with his own technical team, and while he may, as Dietrich declares, have known exactly what Franco wanted, it was a far cry from the Denise productions from which Franco had assembled work prints on his own. However, after shooting Jack the Ripper, he was able to persuade Dietrich that his next film, a return to the woman in prison genre, required a tropical setting. Dietrich agreed, and so in August 76, Franco headed off to his favorite location, Sintra, in Portugal. This time, though, he would not be operating as a one-man band. Director of Photography Rudolf Kutel, lighting specialist Hans Ziefel, and line producer Max Dora were all staunch Dietrich regulars, and Dora in particular was briefed to keep an eye on things. There was to be no hanky-panky, no little Manacoa productions springing from the soil of Dietrich's budget. Franco described what he had in mind for the film. A movie is already on paper. I like the English title, titled No Man's Land. It's the story of a lunatic asylum for women. I hope the movie is pretty surreal. The star for this journey into Sado sleaze was a big name in exploitation cinema, Ms. Diane Thorne, internationally infamous for Ilsa, She-Wolf of the SS. According to her, Franco's script was inspired by a real person who ran a sanatorium in Portugal where snuff films were made of inmates for profit. Dietrich's, which I don't know if that's true, but anyways, Dietrich's decision to give Franco more freedom was influenced by two factors: the skillful job Franco had made of Jack the Ripper, and the profits coming in from Barbed Wire Dolls, which was turning into a major hit for the studio. No doubt the latter also influenced the choice of subject matter for the new Franco assignment. So after they did the first two after they did the first two Ilsa films, after that, when Edmonds moved on, distributors John Dunning and Andre Links of Cinepix were eager for more of the same, so they looked around for other directors to continue the line. In 1976, tantalizing press artwork circulated promising the match of the century, Elsa meets Bruce Lee in The Devil's Triangle, available fall 76. Sadly, this never materialized, and instead the Canadian director Jean Lafleur directed the third entry in the series, Elsa the Tigress of Siberia, in 1977. Yeah, the Elsa meets Bruce Lee in The Devil's Triangle ad has always been one of my personal favorites. For at least 25 years, I've always obsessed on that ad, and maybe I'll make a film of that. We'll see one day. That would definitely be a dream project for me. But of course, can't do it with Bruce Lee anymore, and can't do it with Diane Thorne. But, there's other people that could fit a bill like that. So it says, so after the third one, okay, it says, but wait, what about the fourth Elsa film? The raunchy and offensive one by that crazy Spanish director? Well, here's where the story gets complicated. Although it's frequently believed that Jess Franco directed a fourth entry in the Elsa series, this is not really true. The film we know today as Ilsa The Wicked Warden was not intended to bear the name Elsa at all. Franco and producer Erwin C Dietrich conceived and released the film in Switzerland and Germany as Greta, Haus und Männer, literally Greta, House Without Men, or in the French-speaking parts of Switzerland, Greta le Tournière. While it's true that the film stars Diane Thorne and her persona as Greta is pretty much identical to Elsa, when Franco put the film together he created, at least nominally, a new character. Only when picked up for distribution in the USA did the association with the Elsa films grow, and even then it's not as straightforward as it is commonly assumed, having only really blossomed with the advent of videotape. So Ilsa The Wicked Warden is not a true Elsa film, but the tone is very similar, right down to the deliberately outrageous shock scenes. Needles stuck into breasts, erotic asphyxia, mutilation, flagellation. Franco delivers in spades the sort of sadosexual nastiness that Elsa fans adore and detractors abhor. For Elsa, She-Wolf of the SS, director Don Edmonds had benefited from the special makeup effects of Joe Blasco, who also created the groundbreaking effects for Cronenberg's Shivers. There was no one like Blasco to design special effects for Greta, Haus und Männer, so Franco, who never cared much for special effects anyway, simply amplified the sleaze factor, giving the audience a different kind of shudder while leaving no one shortchanged. In the film's most infamous scene, he delivers a coprophagic interlude so gloatingly nasty that it deserves pride of place in the exploitation halls of infamy. The scene involves new girl Abby, who is fishing for information about her missing sister Rosa, being blackmailed into licking the ass of the queen bitch of the cell block, Juana, played by Franco's muse Lena Romay. When Juana demands, "Lick my culo," immediately after we see her using the toilet, itself a rarity in such movies. Nothing in the special effects toolkit could compete with the ensuing violation. Franco places in the mind of the viewer an image so intimate, so disgusting, that a prosthetic stimulation would only diminish the effect. Acting and camera placement do everything so one could ask to sell the scene, short of a visit to the furthest shores of scat porn. Lena Romay plays her character coldly, brilliantly, and one can only gasp at Franco's sheer nerve. Presaged by Juana's offhand remark to another prisoner as she sits on the toilet, "With these trots I better not move," the scene vaults over the good taste barrier, and by the time Romay is ordering poor Abby to, "Come on, lick my culo, you don't want to know about Rosa Phillips," we're stunned by this brazen eruption of scatological sadism. Some will be disgusted, very few turned on, while others, myself included, can only cheer from the sidelines as Franco once again demonstrates his commitment to every aspect of the perverse. The presence of Peggy Markoff's Carla, observing it all, adds an extra tinge of humiliation, and her casual words of advice after the degradation. "Stop crying, after all, she kept her word. You should try to forget what she's done." Refuse even to hint at moral outrage. Truly a scene Desaad himself would have loved. Miss Thorne is an icon of excess who seems as though she's sprung from some unholy and deeply unlikely bedroom alliance between John Waters and Tora Santana. The film is ultimately dominated by her over-the-top sense of fun, beginning with shots of her enjoying a luxury bubble bath and soaping her large breasts. There's an undercurrent of purring playfulness that only the humorless could miss. Of course, this simply adds to the disorienting weirdness of the film. Tonally, the film is all over the place. At times, thanks to the music, we even stray into what feels like a corny adventure serial. Such reaching disparities are a hallmark of Franco's films in the late 70s and early 80s. Bearing in mind Dietrich's self-confessed dismay with the technical roughness of Barbed Wire Dolls, Greta Haus Unmanner was evidently meant to be the deluxe version of Barbed Wire Dolls. The internal dynamics of sex and sadism are present and correct, but they're dolled up with star presence, reasonably careful photography, traditional musical cues, and a framing device that locates the horror in a world beyond the confines of the prison. The script tries to ground the story in the real world of political and press corruption, and in doing so sets up a kind of cognitive dissonance between the immoral pleasures of witnessing sadism and the existence of a moral framework in the narrative. However, once the real world has been acknowledged, the template is the same as before. The girls in the clinic include a cynical lesbian, a warden's favorite, a madwoman, an innocent newcomer, and Eric Falk as a brutal prison guard. Even the electric shock bed from Barbed Wire Dolls makes a comeback. Another returning star from Barbed Wire Dolls is actress Peggy Markoff, who played the self-styled queen of the prison camp in the first film. Here she is again in a similarly baroque and deranged role as Carla, whose backstory, related in a lengthy dialogue scene, really stands out for its imaginative excess. After going to such extremes, the film needs a good, solid exploitation ending, and Franco delivers in spades. Elsa is set upon and torn to pieces by her victims, led by Juana, whose conscience has finally tweaked after seeing Abby reunited with her sister Rosa, only to find poor Rosa has been driven hopelessly insane in a dingy torture cellar beneath the clinic. Franco cleverly intercuts shots of the prisoners chewing at Elsa's flesh with shots of lions and tigers mauling their natural prey, suggesting the animalistic rage of womankind. The oppressed literally eat the oppressor alive, and to hell with the International Treaty on Human Rights. Meanwhile, in a last cynical twist, we see Eric Falk in his hidey hole, merrily capturing Elsa's grisly death throes on film, for sale to the snuff-seeking client who has been buying recordings of the prisoner's sufferings throughout. Perhaps a paranoid misinterpretation of the final twist explains why Cinepix allegedly took against the film. Ilsa The Wicked Warden is one of Franco's most outrageous films, offering a spectacle of sexual sadism so pungent, so over-the-top that on release The Grindhouse of America in the late 1970s, it left some audience members heaving. Others took delight in Franco's anything-goes excesses. According to writer and sleaze biographer Bill Landis, when the film played on New York's 42nd Street, it received howls of approval from hard-to-please regulars, cruising the city's sleaze pits for the ultimate in-screen shocks. It's a testament to Franco's unerring taste for transgression that the film is still capable of shocking viewers today. Franco on screen. As the concerned Dr. Arcos, Franco is on the side of the angels this time. Off-screen, Franco enjoyed cordial relation with his visiting American superstar. Asked on a DVD commentary if Franco was a tyrant on set, Thorne said, "He's a gentleman. He's too smart to be angry." All right, cast and crew. In many ways, this is as much a star vehicle for Diane Thorne as Jack the Ripper was for Klaus Kinski. The Elsa films may not belong in the same artistic constellation as Aguiar Wrath of God, but in her own way, Diane Thorne was as much of a proven screen presence as Kinski, who, let's not forget, spent much of the 60s and early 70s making films making films and then despised genres like the spaghetti western and the giallo. With larger-than-life personality and two of the biggest upfront scene stealers in the business, Thorne was one of the first examples of what one might call sleaze royalty, along with such alternative megastars as Divine and Toro Santana. Mainstream coverage for her films were virtually non-existent, but anyone who walked through Times Square between 1973 and 1982 probably saw her face on posters and front of house stills 1,000 times. She enters so fully into the spirit of the film that it can be puzzling to read her interview claiming that she didn't know she was doing sexploitation film, which is pretty stupid. Music. Conventional orchestra scoring mixed with some Latin numbers and a few stray cuts from other Dietrich productions. The title song from Downtown plays on a jukebox in a scene where Eric Falk hands over tortured Super 8 reels to a sleazy customer. The curious synthesizer music during the electro-torture scene was previously used by Dietrich in his supernatural-themed porno Der Teufel in Miss Jonas to accompany appearances by a weird demonic monster. Exteriors were filmed during August 1976 in Sintra, Portugal. This marked the first time Franco had been there to the area since 1974 when he shot parts of Julieta 69 there. Location interiors were filmed at the brooding Villa Sonnenberg, perched on a hill at the edge of a forest on the outskirts of Zurich. Built in 1911 by the architect Friedrich Wilhelm Fissler, this 39-room mansion started life as an orphanage. Today it houses a music school for children aged 4 to 17. But for a week or two in August 1976, its labyrinth network of empty rooms became the inner chambers of Ilsa's brutal private clinic, providing both the interior spaces for the prisoners and for Ilsa's private chambers. Its hallways, carefully redressed with lots of raffia scenes and coconut matting, doubled in the cafe where Nestor trades his snuff films. More interior shots were collected as usual at the Dietrich Studios above the restaurant Gasthof Neuhaus, now destroyed, in Rumlag near Zurich. Canadian and American theatrical releases. Okay, here's interesting stuff. Greta, Hans und Manner was first picked up for release in the English-speaking world by Canadian distributors Cinepix, who put it out in June 1977 as Greta the Mad Butcher, on a double bill with Alan Payette's Love Train for SS. A year later, on October 16, 1978, Cinepix registered the film with the U.S. Library of Congress under a new title, Ilsa the Wicked Warden. However, it appears there was legal problems, probably stemming from the director of the first two Ilsa films, Don Edmonds, because as far as I can ascertain, Franco's film never played theatrically in either Canada or the U.S. under that title. It did, however, turn up on video as Ilsa the Wicked Warden and Ilsa Absolute Power in the early to mid-1980s. In the USA, the film was picked up by veteran film buyer Bernie Jacon and released as Wanda the Wicked Warden. Jacon had worked for many years at the New York-based indie distributor Cambist Films Incorporated, who handled the American releases of the first two Ilsa films, but he left in March of 1978 when Cambist, citing declining income from the sexploitation circuits, began scaling down their interest in erotica. The first release date I've been able to trace for Wanda the Wicked Warden was in January 1979, after which it toured as the headline film of a nationwide triple bill with Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS and Ilsa Harem Keeper of the Oil Sheiks. Canadian and American VHS releases. Only on videotape did Greta, Haus und Manner, finally see the light of day as Ilsa the Wicked Warden. Cinepix released it with that title on Canadian VHS in 1983. 5 years later, the unimaginatively named American video used the Ilsa title too, with virtually the same box art except for a splattery decal on the front cover containing a quote from Cinema Magazine. For pure, unadulterated wickedness, no screen villain out-evils Ilsa. Anchor Bay released the film as Ilsa the Wicked Warden on video in July 2000, and the same went for the DVD a few years later. Since then, the film continues to be sold under the Ilsa title for the English-speaking releases on DVD and Blu-ray. Connections. The scene in which Greta Ilsa is torn apart and eaten by her prisoners is reminiscent of a scene in The Bloody Judge, in which a vengeful Diane Laurie slings a similar attack on a sidekick of Judge Jeffries, responsible for the death and torture of many prisoners. Also, too, they don't mention it here, but it's very similar to the ending of Isle Dr. Moreau, Island Lost Souls. Also, they reused it later in Hellhole. If you watch the film Hellhole with Ray Sharkey and Mary Warnoff and that, there's quite a bit of the torture stuff for the prisoners, which is really similar to this, and then them killing her at the end with the knives, which, of course, that's also taken from Dead Eyes of London, the Human Monster, which is similar, too, with the blind guys. Other versions. Despite being retitled for the American market, there are no differences, apart from the lead's altered character name, between the original German language version and the American. The version released theatrically as Wanda the Wicked Warden has never surfaced on any home entertainment format. There is no indication, however, that Wanda the Wicked Warden differed in content from Ilsa the Wicked Warden. It appears by the name was only the thing that was changed. The French variant, Pénitentiaire des Femmes Perverses, is not to be confused with another film of the same title starring Merlu Tullow and Martine Bouchard. Yes, okay. So, yeah, that's what they have written up on Ilsa the Wicked Warden and Wanda the Wicked Warden, all that good stuff. So, yeah, we watched it on the Ilsa Wicked Warden Anchor Bay DVD that I've probably owned for about 20 years now. I'm going to probably pick up the Ascot Elite one because there's not many extras on it, but it's Blu-ray, it's upgrade. And, I'm going to still keep this DVD, the Anchor Bay one, because it's got the commentary track with Diane Thorne and Don Edmonds on it, and which is cool to have that the Blu-ray I don't think has. So yeah, this was film 19, Ilsa the Wicked Warden, film 78. I'm sorry, episode 19, film 78, the 11th of 16 that we do with Dietrich and Franco. You can please get a hold of us at Franco Observer at yahoo.com. And that's our mission statement here, is to praise and in memory of Jess Franco, breaking the name and films of Jess Franco to new eyes and ears. And we keep seeing new numbers of listeners joining every week, so it's really cool. We're getting everybody downloading the episodes. I'm seeing days where people are downloading the complete 14, 15 episodes that we have, more by now by the time this episode airs, because like I said, this will be number 19. So, thank you for downloading. Please, if you're just listening to episodes, download them because it increases our numbers, and the more numbers we get, the more they'll let us do advertising, and then we'll even get more bigger audience, and more Franco fans will pop up. More Franco titles will be sold, and hopefully, works out on the other end as well. Let's see here. You know me, Jason Rudy from Desperate Visions Productions. I'm working on a few films right now myself, writing scripts, doing the podcast, and these COVID times still. Hope we get the vaccine going around, and we can start shooting, get everybody vaccinated, get everybody with the vaccine, so everybody's great to be available to film and to be out and about and to be relaxed and to be getting back to our way of life that we so, I don't know, didn't really take advantage of. Well, I mean, not take advantage of, but we took for granted, I should say. But, I don't know, when something's there all the time, it's I guess it is easy to take granted of. But now that we've been without for so long and now able to return to what we love and want to do, it makes those things much sweeter. So, like me, I've been just fruitful with my ideas and titles and film ideas, and writing about 6 or 7 different films right now. So it all feeds itself, I mean, inspiration is where you take it, and you should never turn your face away from inspiration. Always be open to it. Listen to the signs. Let things inspire you. I don't know, for me, inspiration's things I hear, goofy things on the radio, commercials, weird street signs I'll read, things I'll see while driving. That's driving in my car is a big inspiration for me. It's my way to kind of watch public and watch things and take from that. So, that's one thing that helps me a lot. We enjoyed Ilsa. After this, you'll hear the trailer, or you'll have bumper music, of course. Hear the trailer, and then you'll hear the review that me and Eric did for Eric and I did for Ilsa the Wicked Warden. So thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time. Adios, and listen to the review.
Wanda, the Wicked Warden.
Starring Diane Thorne as Greta. You knew her as the ruthless and evil Ilsa. Now, in a role even more cruel, sadistic, tyrannically insane. Protected by the authorities, she is free to reign over an hallucinatory world, a fraudulent mental clinic for sexual delinquents, more than that, a prison for the sane.
They beat our brains out. We're not really crazy. We're political prisoners, that's all.
Wanda, the Wicked Warden.
Unmerciful.
She's lost too much blood. She shouldn't be moved.
That's unimportant. Take her away.
Yes, take her away to the hellhole where the victims tear each other apart. A nightmare world of primitive passion and bloody sexual violence.
Ah, well. We must cauterize you before you cause more trouble.
Nobody ever leaves this inferno alive. Surrounded by a beautiful but impenetrable jungle, they flee in vain. The ones who try are hunted down like wild beasts and shot with even less compassion.
Who is the most ruthless in the world?
Wanda, the Wicked Warden.
Starring Diane Thorne. Directed by Jess Franco.
Wanda, the Wicked Warden.
Coming soon.
Wanda, the Wicked Warden.
Hey, buddies. Welcome again to the Franco Observer podcast. I am your host, Jason Rudy, and we are on episode 19 of the Franco Observer podcast. Once again, I am your host, Jason Rudy, and I am joined by my co-host, Eric Whitwell.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Oh, bien.
Oh, bien. Good. So tonight we watched Ilsa the Wicked Warden, which is, let's see, film 78 from Jess Franco, and film the 11th of 16 films he did with Erwin C Dietrich that we've reviewed. So this is 11, so we got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We got 5 more films left of the Dietrich collection, so we're winding down on that. After that, I don't know, we're probably going to go maybe back to the beginning, maybe skim through, maybe do Orloff and do some of the bigger titles, or maybe go back to film 1. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Also, too, if you have ideas or things you want us to review, let us know, and we'll figure that out and figure all that good stuff. This film we watched, Ilsa the Wicked Warden. Let's see. I'll give you a brief synopsis of the film first. From the book Flowers of Perversion, the Delirious Cinema of Jess Franco, Volume 2 by Stephen Thrower. Synopsis. South America, the 1970s. Ilsa, or Greta if you prefer, is the warden of Las Palomas, a private clinic which specializes in female sexual abnormalities. However, in truth, the clinic is a prison where various social undesirables and political prisoners are incarcerated. Ilsa herself is a sadistic lesbian who uses the women for her own sick amusement. The chief guard makes Super 8 films of the various atrocities and sells them to a man called Diaz. One patient, Rosa Phillips, manages to escape and finds her way through the jungle to the humanitarian and liberal activist, Dr. Milton Arcos. Before Dr. Arcos can be of any help, Ilsa and her guards arrive to take the young woman away. Later, the doctor is informed that she has died. Horrified, Dr. Arcos approaches a humanitarian rights organization with his suspicions about the clinic. He is told the organization shares his concern, but without proof there's nothing they can do. Outside, he is met by Abby Phillips, Rosa's sister, and the two of them hatch a plan to discover what really happened to Rosa. Dr. Arcos will have Abby admitted to the clinic for a month, after which he will go to the clinic and insist that she be released due to a diagnostic error. But they reckon without Ilsa's wickedness and determination to stay on top. Without the clinic, brutal crimes are perpetrated against the inhabitants, including Abby, who eventually discovers the awful fate of her sister. But can Ilsa cling to power indefinitely? Quickly, I liked it. Eric, what did you think about the film?
That was a really good movie. Like that honestly has probably been one of my favorites so far that I've seen of his. Yeah, it was just the plot was great, the acting was really good, the lighting, like it was just the pace. Yeah, it was really good. I thought it was just a really, really good movie.
Yeah, he had a. It was good because it's like we were reading before. You know, he did the films for Dietrich. He did the barbed wire dolls, and then he snuck around and did Bear Behind shit, kind of down his face. Yeah, it's like he did barbed wire dolls, and he did Women Behind Bars, and then he, of course, did the Downtown and Slaves, and then had the problem with documentary saw and all that stuff, and then had the Mandinga problems, and then he had to do the three Girls in the Night Traffic, Monoerotica, and White Skin, Black Thigh. So like being trapped with that, and then finally to have a little bit of freedom to do Jack the Ripper. That he finally had more freedom now to do this film. So it's like when you're pent up and you finally get to like do something, you kind of see it, and that's probably why this film is very enjoyable. Especially the last two films. Jack the Ripper was fun too, and you've seen a nice change of pace. Yeah, and this is definitely more of a film, and it's a throwback to his earlier films where he has a budget and he has great dialogue and stuff. And the dubbing's not bad. I'm curious. We watched the English version. We watched the Anchor Bay DVD I've had for like 20 years. This is probably like maybe the fourth or fifth time I've seen this film, but my first time seeing it, being a Jess Franco enthusiast now and the host and all that stuff, it was cool watching it. I'm going to go over the cast a little bit because that's important. There's a lot of Jess Franco regulars in this. Of course, Diana Thorne is awesome in this. She comes to this having already done 3 Elsa films and a bunch of other softcore and exploitation films throughout the years. But it's cool to see her as like a character in this, as Elsa, of course, an established character, and then have her with Lena, which is really, really cool. I was remarking about that when we were watching it. It was cool to see those two together. So yeah, Elsa, Diane Thorne plays Dr. Greta Del Pino, so the Palomino Clinic. Lena Romay is Juana Moraes, prisoner number 10. Tamina Bussier plays Abby Phillips. Abigail Garcia, number 41. She's the lead, the gal that goes in looking for the prison.
So beautiful. Yeah,
she looks a little bit like Isabella Adjani. I had remarked too. We'll see her in that. Angela Richard plays Rosa Phillips, prisoner number 52. Peggy Markoff returns in this. She's great as this film. She's Carla, prisoner number 14, and she says to her later, "My pet name. You call me my pet name, number 7," which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
which I thought that was a clever line. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm number 14, but you can call me by my pet name 7.
Yeah, 7. Esther Studer plays prisoner number 24. So, Eric, what do you think about Esther Studer in this film?
Oh, man.
She's not one of your favorites.
She's not one of my favorites in this film, no.
Eric didn't like her hairstyle with the water, I think.
Well, maybe the scars, too, in her face. That could have helped out a little bit.
Yeah, one thing about the scars, too, there was really good effects. Eric remarked, and I remarked, the scarring on the people's faces and their breasts and the tattooing of the numbers on it looked really good.
Looked really good.
Yeah.
Like her sister, who she was going in to try and save or see.
Right.
Like the scars on her face were incredible. Like there was deep indentations. Like
yeah,
they
it
were
didn't look fake. Like
no.
It wasn't like a fake prosthetic glued on or something. It's the lining of it is hard. It almost made it within the lines of the. Yeah, I'm curious. I'll have to look anyway. Talk about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was just really, really well done. Really well done. And I thought the torture scenes were kind of interesting, and it was just the special effects were just it's some of the best I've seen so far. Yeah,
and it's very similar to Women Behind Bars and Barbed Wire Dolls. Some of the torture, there's that scene again with a woman laying on the bed frame, the wire bed frame, and being shocked, but it's different. In this, the lights don't go in and out, and she doesn't writhe around. There's a sound effect on the machine. It's weird, But yeah, back to the cast. So yes, Esther Studer plays prisoner 24. Howard Maurer plays the director of Federal Prisoner. He's the one that has an affair with Diane Thorne's character, Elsa / Greta. Eric Falk returns as Dr. Stefan Rigo. He's funny. he doesn't really have much of emotion on this. He's always just has this goofy, like, straight ahead. He doesn't show sadness or happiness. He just, I don't know.
Yeah, he just has that one little, like that stupid dorky look.
Yeah, he always has this weird like smile,
like a smirk. Like he just has a smirk,
and he doesn't blink very much, which is funny.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Let's see. They have Laura Lee Boucher is the chief guard. I think she's the one that was in Around the World in 80 Beds and Wanda Erotica on that. I think she's the one listed as there. Let's see. Mike Ledier plays stubbly convict in gang rape scene. I think that's the heavyset guy that's in the last couple films.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's funny. That's a nice credit. Stubbly convict in gang rape scene. Oh, yeah, I recognize you. So Esther Mosier is prisoner number 18 who creates diversion in the showers. But that's weird. I thought that's Esther Mosier. I'll have to look and see that. Because, yeah, it said Esther Mosier's in this, but I'll have to see if she's in it or Esther Studer, which I'll have to see who they are. And because I think they have it switched by accident. Roman Hubert plays third convict in line in gang rape scene. Okay, so that's the guys we were like, who are those guys? Mariana Ledier, Yvonne Esther. There must be two of the prisoners. Uncredited, Jesus Franco as Dr. Milton Arcos. Yeah, so Jess Franco in this, he's like a total good guy in this film. It's totally funny.
Yeah.
And I was telling Eric, too, it's funny, like knowing all this stuff with him and Lena and the fair and stuff he had. Now he's trying to, like, put himself in a good eye of everything. He's like upstanding citizen. He has a woman that's his daughter that's probably about 18 in the film, which would be like the girls he's usually with in the past films. He's an upstanding citizen. He's a good guy, you know. He's a fast, snappy dresser. He has like 3 outfits, and his shirts are always like halfway unbuttoned in it. He's clean shaven. He doesn't have a mustache in this. He's pretty suave, but you know.
Yeah, he's just an all-around a good father.
Yeah, he's like totally like a good guy in this. It's so funny watching. It's like, shut the fuck up. Let's see. Dagmar Bouguer plays blonde prisoner number 9. Carl Geisling is the goateed convict. Oh, okay, that's the guy. Carl Geisling, goateed convict in gang rape scene.
Okay,
that's the guy in the past couple films. Yeah, he was in Downtown and he was in Girls in Night Traffic and that. Let's see. Sigar Sharif, she's another returning one. She's Sigar Sharif, the black convict number 20, and they also IMDb adds Sandra Brennan and Alex Exler. Some sources claim that the actress playing prisoner number 20, which is Sigar Sharif, is not Sigar Sharif, but Yvonne Endlisler, which is funny because that's the same gal, I think, because we totally recognized her. The one that was talking through the pipes all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's this lady that was talking through the pipes, and it's like people were like tortured and like in pain, and this lady just keeps talking. We're like, shut up, we're trying to like, stay here. So, okay, so with this film, like I agree with Eric. It was really, really edited well. It flowed really well. Really good costuming. Diane Thorne's really good. Diane Thorne's eyes are really funny in this.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, she just had this weird, like, Betty Davis kind of Joan Crawford, I don't know, kind of melodramatic stare. It's funny.
Oh, yeah, she was evil. Man, her eyes
like
were
Sunset
evil.
Boulevard or whatever.
She was getting off on that stuff, man.
Yeah. Okay, so on the Franco count list of this real quick before I go into basically the synopsis of the film, that there's body of waters in this, but no sailboats. Or
no boats
of any kind. So, yeah, tons of bodies of water, but no boats. Dance scene in a club. No.
Yeah, there wasn't any dancing.
No, just a lot of stripping, but no dancing. Palm trees, yes. Tons of palm trees. Jungle sound effects, a little bit, but in the end, they went full bore at the animals and stuff in the very last scene, which was really, really good. No sheepskin rug, because I think that was the last those sets on the set of Dietrich films. Masturbation with a sea item. No,
it wasn't much.
There was some masturbation. The woman, the convict, rubbing her boobs a little bit.
Yeah,
and and bush and stuff. And then there was girls. When she first came in, the girls were kind of rubbing her and kind of doing that a little bit, but it wasn't that much. And then Dinah Thorne didn't really, I don't think. No, she's more with women. Okay, yeah, so red lights, yes, there's red lights with the Dinah Thorne scene when she's with the guard guy. Or the,
he's like the director of all the prison system.
There's that scene with that. And then when I was watching Dr. Orloff the other night, there was I was watching that just for fun, not as an episode, and watching it as an early film, I started to notice a lot of the other archetypes that I kind of missed. Because then there's the palm trees and there's body of water. I was laughing. There's a few other things, but there's one thing I totally zoned over was the chained up woman in the film, and in all the ones we've watched, pretty much. I think, let's see, Voodoo Passion, I don't know, White Skin, Black Thighs, I'm not sure. Sexy Sisters, there is that woman chained to the bed. Also, too, in Orloff, there's a scene of where Orloff has his daughter behind this kind of like prison gate, and she's laying on a bed. I thought of Sexy Sisters where the woman's on the bed, and there's like that, and they also use the same exact bars where they got that weird kind of a ripple to it. But yeah, so that was kind of cool seeing that. So yeah, so the chained up woman. There's quite a few chained up women in this.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the doctor, the Fu Manchu had the chained up women. Barbara Doll, slaves. Marquis de Sade. A lot of those have the chained up women in there. And this Lena's magic tongue is another one that I'm adding into the list. Does she use her magic tongue in this film? I would say no.
I didn't see it.
But she makes number 14 or number 41 use her magic tongue. Lick my culo.
That was funny. She's like, yeah, you want forgiveness? You want me to help you?
Yeah, you want information?
Yeah. She just took a shit. She turns around and hands her a piece of paper, says, wipe me, wipe my culo. And like the girl has to clean her ass with the toilet paper, and then she goes, oh, now you're going to get in there. And so then, oh God, dude. Starts licking her ass when she has diarrhea. That is hilarious.
Yeah, she says, I better not move that much. I have the trots.
And it must have been real bad because the girl started throwing up like right afterwards. So it must have been some nasty ass prison.
Her ass, so then she like threw up, and then she's like, okay, I'll tell you where your sister is.
Yeah,
because the girl is.
Yeah. You're on my good side now.
Yeah. So yeah, and this it kind of like opens up. You see like the jungle setting, and you see the body of water. And then I was kind of writing. Well, these are my basic notes. I didn't really write a whole bunch of notes because I actually enjoyed a lot of the film. Like I said, this is the English dub version. I'm going to check out and see if there was a German version or what. So yeah, it starts off with a jungle setting. You see the body of water. Start the 1 minute. Yeah, so you see the first nudity in the film was 1 minute 50 seconds. It's the shower scene with like 6 or 7 girls, I guess.
Yeah,
women in the scene.
It's where Esther
yeah, that's right. Esther does. I don't know if it's Studer or Mosher. I think it's Mosher is that one, right? Esther Mosher.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I'll double check. But so she does the screaming, and then does the diversion, and the other chick takes off running.
Oh, dude, she went out. Yeah, dude, she went for it.
This gal sneaks out of the shower, grabs her shirt and like 2 buttons, and then just books naked through the jungle. Eric was like just dumbfounded by like how dangerous the setting was and what could be in the waters and these weird jungle settings that she was running through barefoot through rocks and the fucking diving into ponds being shot at. And
yeah, it was incredible. I was like, whoa, man. Like I'd be scared of like spiders and snakes and like, when am I going to step on something? Like what creature am I going to surprise?
Right,
all of a sudden
rock's
being there?
Hurt my foot.
Yeah, like she's running through the jungle barefoot, like full board. Like Franco gets gets his actors to really commit to their parts.
Yeah, in the film you're either gonna be nude and like running fucking naked outside somewhere or doing something like getting everything into it if you're gonna be a featured performer. Most definitely.
Like, I wouldn't want to run through your backyard barefoot.
I know, let alone fucking jump. I mean, and she was running through like multiple settings and diving into things and waterfalls and fucking. Hide behind things. And shit was crazy. So then you saw palm trees and Elsa's big eyes is what I kept noticing. That she kept like selling the eyes. Let's see. Yeah, the female prison guard we recognized from Wanda Erotica Around the World in 80 Beds. let's see, 41, of course, and then was the lead, and number 14 is Peggy Markoff. We said before that her pet name is number 7. There's really a great lighting scene with Peggy Markoff's character 14 in the lead, number 41, where they're laying there talking to each other, and the sunlight was hitting them, and there was like a rainbow effect on the lady laying on her back with the rainbow across her boob. That was a really good shot.
Yeah.
It's like really, it's like probably the best lighting in that film was that scene. I kept marking out over that scene. It's like, damn, it's a really good lighting scene. It was just a basic scene, but it was really a good, like, a fucking nice scene, I thought.
It was incredible. Like, the lighting was perfect on it. I love the way that he always frames his shots. Like, like in that one, there was a female prisoner that's in the foreground, and she's, rubbing her nipples and her going down her stomach, and so he keeps her in the shot like fuzzy.
Yeah, just totally out of focus in the foreground, as that's in the very front of the shot, like he's saying, and then you see the performance in the middle ground and the background. Yeah,
no, it was man, really good, really, really good.
Yeah, and then of course I've written "Naked Woman Chained Up," which is what you see, and then the one gal was talking, and I had remarked a line that I liked, and she talked about Lena Romay's character being addicted to pain, because there's a scene where she goes to see Elsa, and Elsa has her lay down, and she starts putting pins into her, wouldn't let her scream, and she puts pins all up and down her midsection up to her boobs, and then Elsa lays on top of her and says, and now you can scream, and like pushes her body into her body, and pushes the pins into her.
Yeah, that was really creative.
Yeah. There's a lot of kinks in this film. There's, of course, the chaining up, there's the fecal kink. There's licking of assholes in this film. There's, of course, snuff film, foot stuff. There's, what else? Pain, of course, the pain kink. There's so much in this film that they try to nail all the stuff, and definitely Franco definitely goes down that alley. But yeah, like, so she was talking about Lena Romay, and she's talking about how much she's into pain, and she says, a wound is like a kiss to her body, which I thought that was a cool line. Yeah, and then there's an electroshock scene in bed, like in Barbed Wire Dolls, and you see the red light with Elsa in bed, and you have the sound effect over the sound. Oh yeah, there's the sound effect overload at the end when all the women get their revenge on Elsa. Start eating the shit out of her.
Yeah, the red light scene though is really cool the way he did that also, because she's Elsa's doing this like striptease for this guy, like seducing him. But he kept her out of focus like the entire time, and like it's like he focused on like a lamp that was like near her, and like she was out of focus the whole time, and it was really cool the way it was done. You know what I mean? It was really, really cool.
Yeah, no, it was very stylized. It was like, okay, like I was talking to Eric when I was watching this. It's like, okay, well, you have Diana Thorne, so obviously you want to get her naked probably 3 or 4 times. Okay, well, besides seeing her naked, what are you going to do with her naked? How are you going to make it interesting? Okay, we've seen her nude before. How are you going to make it different? So that was like one of the things. Like he sees her, you first see her nude in a bathtub, and she's like, okay, that's cool. And she's listening, and you see the typical bathtub scene. That's a good nude scene. And then with her, with this one, it's cool because like Eric was saying, it's totally out of focus. You only see like her knee is in focus, her hand or something in the foreground. I forgot what it was. And she's totally out of focus. And then when the lead guy, or the lead prison, or the lead guard guy, or whatever he was, in charge of prisons, and her get into the bed together, he shoots it through like this like vase or glass that's on the table or something, and it's totally right in the middle of the scene, and creates a cool effect because it takes the titillation out of it and turns it into just to an artful shot, but still retaining the nudity, and you see glimpses of it, but it takes away the effect of it, which I totally dug, because he showed you the nudity, but then took away the reason for you to watch it, and then made you appreciate it on a different level, which I thought was a fucking cool move,
Yeah, it wasn't just
here's
excessive.
a pussy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because she turned over, and then you see it, and he gives you later what you want to see, because she turns over, it's like, wow, there's a nice rare vagina shot of Diana Thorne.
Yeah.
And because she kept hiding, she kept turning away from the camera, and then she turns over, and you're like, okay, there's
it is.
There's the money shot that you wanted to see, But you put that at the end, not focused. But yeah, for this, it was interesting because the tone was different. It was more like a punishing of sexuality compared to an embrace of it. The only embracing of it was Elsa's character.
So Franco kept that tone different too in this. I was thinking about that, like with the love making between the women compared to the other films where it was excessive and it was like a normal thing. Here it was like, well, that's not supposed to happen here, and only Elsa does that. But even with Elsa, it was a pain thing with Lena, you know, and she fucked with the guy, but she was a lesbian and she wasn't into it. She did it just to let her prison keep going and to kind of like be in his favor. So when they did the inspection later, she can get away with the shit and fucking play it off, you know. So yeah, I thought it was interesting how they used sex in this film compared to his other films. It had a different feel and tone to it and stuff. Yeah, and then of course in the end, but it was cool actually. Before I get to that, Eric Falk's character in this, he was like selling snuff film footage, so he would basically like hide and film this fucking footage. And in downtown, he was being filmed by Franco on the other side of this like fucking two-way mirror, and on this, the actual like painting would move out of the way, and you see him with this goofy smile on the fucking 16mm, 18mm camera filming this snuff footage or the torture footage. Actually, it was actually torture footage. Yeah. And then at the very end, he filmed Elsa, Greta, whatever, getting killed, and then he was going to sell that to this guy. So the guy I'm talking about that was behind the footage was in the past few films. He was in Mondo Erotica, Around the World in 80 Beds, and in Girls Night Traffic, and that he was the guy wearing the fez having sex in the red light district. Yeah. So he was the one in this that was buying the footage from Eric Falk's character, and he wanted kind of an animalistic ritual killing. He said at the end something very animalistic, and that's what they did. So we were watching this, and I kept trying to push the sound effects, but I knew they weren't doing it that much. And finally, Franco unleashed the whole animal soundtrack at the end. He had a coyote there multiple times, and kind of thing. He had like played like 4 or 5 times. Had the tiger, I think a monkey might have been in there, a couple other jungle things that were thrown in there, and you know, with the growls and shit. It was pretty funny. But yeah, it was very effective. I don't know. In this, the blood they used, it was orange instead of red, and it kept bothering me because it looked so fake. Like, one funny scene Eric noticed. Well, I noticed too when they were whipping this woman chained up. They had the liquid on the whip, so when you whip the person, the liquid would get on the person. Well, I thought it hit the hair, but Eric noticed that part of the liquid hit the wall. So when they whipped the woman, the fucking liquid hit the wall. It's like, I guess the wall got whipped too. You know?
Yeah, it left a wound mark on the wall.
Yeah, I guess the wall bled for some reason. I mean, I know the windows bled in Vampiros Lesbos, but I don't know. This bled differently. But yeah, I thought that was kind of a cool blooper.
One thing I really liked was when number 41, yeah. When she was when she was telling her like why she was in there, and she's like, "Oh, I didn't do anything," and they're like, "Well, no, you were a teacher and you molested all these boys," and then she says, "He was 10 years old, but he acted older."
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, because the woman had to fake a story to get in, and Dr. Arcos made up a story about her being a teacher and stuff. But yeah, that was the thing. They said she molested one boy, and then she described how she like took the dicks out and everything, and what she did to him. Yeah, he was 10, but he acted a lot older. Yeah, wow. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, that was odd, but yeah, it was pretty funny. Any of your other notes I forgot to ask you about?
Oh no, I liked all the different torture scenes. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, just the violence was good. Like this was a really violent movie.
Yeah, it was really. I mean, compared to his other films, this had much more. I mean, compared to the Barbed Wire was more of the whipping, but yeah, but definitely Barbed Wire Dolls was making money this time, so then that's why Dietrich was more keen with him. From what I read and understood, is that since that was making money, he was like more game on. Yeah, go ahead and make another prison money because it was going to make him money, especially with Elsa and everything else. Yeah. The lead, it was just fucking licensed to print money, basically.
And it's kind of cool too because Elsa, she acts so much with her eyes. Yeah. Like her eyes, like showed her maniacal. Showed her like how she was getting off on torturing people, and she was so expressive with her eyes. So to have her with Lena, who is also so expressive with her eyes, differences, but the same. Yeah, it was really cool. Like I really liked the pairing of those two.
Yeah, it was almost like I was noticing. I was watching. Erica said, Lena with her is like almost like a girl, and like Elsa's like a woman. It's like because she has the soft, round eyes, but Lena, this was very like tough, and it was cool because she had to show that she was lesbian, butch, and tough, and leather is by wearing this leather bracelet that she had, and that was her significance of being leather. It was funny. I noticed that.
I love Lena.
Cool.
I'm in love with Lena.
Yeah,
and the fact that she made the girl eat her diarrhea ass was just fine.
Yeah, that's another
she's perfect.
checklist of your book. Eric's like, another reason why I love her.
I love her.
Yeah. She speaks to me at night.
Yeah, but it was kind of cool too because she did have like such a strong character, but she is so soft. But then,
yeah, because she's hardcore and stuff, and then in the end, she realizes that, hey man, she fucked me over too, and I should have been with my sisters, and now we're gonna fucking turn tables on her, and and she was tough to the end because she led the women to fucking kill Elsa, and stuff. So
yeah, you could see her defiance through her eyes, like during the scenes.
Yeah, Elsa too is cool watching this. Diana Thorne was a lot younger than I kind of remembered from her watch. Like I always thought watching these years ago that she was a lot older and stuff. Watching this on this, I was really amazed at how young she looked. And I was like, Jesus, wow! I don't remember her being that young. I was kind of impressed, But yeah, she was definitely a power to herself, and it's cool. Like she's a very iconic character, so it's cool to see somebody like her, like he's saying, have this in the film. It was definitely an extra added bonus to the Jess Franco universe,
And just the end scene too, like was crazy.
Yeah, he kept it going for a while.
Yeah, it was insane. I love the edits back and forth to the tigers and the lions devouring their prey as they're eating her.
Yeah, piece by piece, and then you see. You go a little bit further with the people, and they start pulling something out of their mouth. It was supposed to be like her skin or her muscle or bone. It was like part of a sponge or meat or something they're eating, and it just kept going. And it was very cool. The last shot, she like pulled something out as it just kind of went to black, and it was like a really good ending,
But they let the sound effects continue, so you're still hearing the sound effects, the nature, the jungle sounds.
And this one I definitely liked a lot more too, compared to like, of course, because it's like it doesn't have any of the Nazi shit on it. The other one's the Tigers in Siberia and the Harem of the Oil Sheiks, and so it's like this one's just straight ahead, like Jess Franco kind of prison movie, a jail movie, even though it's not. It's a clinic, but it's a women's prison. It's kind of a women's prison movie with Elsa, and it's still got its sadism, and it's got rape scenes, and it's got some torture stuff where I don't know, if you're not into that, it kind of turns you off and stuff, but as seeing how it's made and stuff, it is very interesting. But he tries to cover a lot of the bases with this, and it is evil in spirit, and there is some downbeat to it. But in the end, the evil gets taken out and killed, so it's not as downbeat as Barbed Wire Dolls or something where they go and just kill everybody, and it's like there it is. Well,
it was even crazy, like the rape scene, like. It's not like he pulled out like these beautiful women. You know what I mean? Like, like one woman was missing an eye. Like another lady was like
shaking and all scared, and
another lady's jaw was all like to the side. And it was just like she brought in all these like real fragile, like just tore up women, and then like these guys were just like,
yeah, these guys were all and it was weird. I was laughing. One guy took off his shirt but kept his pants on while he was going to town. So I don't know what he accomplished there, but I don't know. But I'm glad they kept their pants on. Believe me, didn't need to see those guys.
You weren't there.
Yeah, I know. I was like noticing. Hey man, you gotta take the pants off that fat goatee guy. The fucking rapist number 5. Or was it? What was it? The credits. Let's see. What was it again? Stubbly convict and gang rape scene. Yeah. I know that would suck to have on your resume. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna write a film and have that for Eric to be on his resume.
Don't do that, dude. We're watching this. I'm like, don't you ever write a scene where I'm gonna have to eat like Will's ass or something like that, or someone's butt.
Yeah, and you're gonna be known as rapist in gang rape scene number 5, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Please, Mom. Please don't look me up on IMDb.
Exactly. Speaking of IMDb, you can find us, Desperate Visions Productions, on there. You can find Desperate Visions Productions, which is my film company, on Facebook. You can reach out to the Franco Observer podcast at francoobserver@yahoo.com. Please download the episode. It helps increase our numbers and gets things going really well. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. We got sites there. Reach out to us. Let us know what you think. been people reaching out to us so far from Canada, from the UK, and from Spain, telling us they like the show and appreciate that. Been talking back to people and talking to them about all the good stuff involved with Jess Franco. Oh yeah, another thing too I forgot to mention on this film too. Another thing I'm going to add on my list is the number of zooms in the film. I don't know if I'm going to be an actual accurate count each film, but with this there really wasn't excessive zooms, was there? Yeah,
It really wasn't.
Yeah, and he's known for like zooming a lot. And there's a couple scenes that are out of focus we kind of laughed at a little bit, but not too major actually. But yeah, this was filmed really well because he had different camera operators and things, and it was a more structured shoot. It wasn't as fast, and there wasn't a lot of like handheld moving and shooting and going. It was pretty paced really well and everything. So I think it was way more controlled.
And he did have a couple scenes where he shot it in the mirror as well.
Yeah. There's some cool
mirror
scenes
shots,
like that, shooting through like these edges of the window panes and stuff was pretty cool. But yeah, so that was cool. But so Eric enjoyed it.
Yeah, dude. That's like it's a movie I would show. It's a movie I would watch again. I really really liked it.
I've showed it before over the years to people and stuff as part of the Ilsa's thing. It's like showing cult films at midnight and stuff. So I have shown this film before, and I've shown it before and seen it before. I mean, like I said, many times before this. But yeah, as a Franco film, it's definitely good. I definitely enjoyed it. I would recommend it. It's not my top 10, but it's my top 20, maybe top 30. You know, and that's saying at what 180.
I know
films.
this is such crazy numbers to say.
I know. Actually, speaking of now. This is January. We're recording this. I'm up to about 178 titles now for Jess Franco. That's including like documentaries and like say a film in like say Venus and Furs. I have the Italian cut, I mean the Spanish cut, and then the American cut. So like I'll count that as two, even though it's one film, but it's 2 discs and 2 cases, and so it's 2 films. And like I have that with a few films, so I count that as 2, even though if I counted those as 1, the numbers would be smaller. And that includes like documentaries and things, but yeah, I'd say about 150, 160 actual films, So
that's just pretty good.
Getting fucking pretty close to the end, man.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm only head down to about maybe 20 films that I actually have to get, and about half of those are unreleased, so it's hard to really count those, Yeah. But yeah, so once again, thank you for listening. This has been episode 19, Ilsa The Wicked Warden, film 78. Film 11th out of 16 with Erwin C Dietrich. This has been a pleasure talking to you, and we'll see you again soon. Adios.
Beautiful nights.